Welcome to Healing the Mind's Mindful Moments. These mini-pods are designed to give you insight and to help you overcome life's challenges. Understanding projection. What we see and say about others reveals more about ourselves. Understanding projection, what it really reveals. Projection is the process of displacing your own negative traits or unwanted emotions onto a different person, animal or situation, or when we want to try and get someone else to believe what we want them to believe. It is by definition a powerful conscious or even unconscious psychological mechanism used when someone goes out of their way to convince you of something they are not. Examples may be that they're trustworthy, confident, kind or intelligent, but in actual fact it will be a mask to cover up their own deep-seated emotional insecurities and unvalidated beliefs. Therefore, when we project energetically or through our persona or opinions, it's frequently a smokescreen for its opposite. Similarly, when we create opinions or harshly judge others, we're often describing unacknowledged, hidden, or disowned parts of ourselves, where our criticisms are usually reflecting limiting beliefs we hold about who we are or fear we might become. One common example, drawn from my many years of experiencing and supporting and healing others, is the projection that arises in relation to our parents. Many people, in an effort to avoid becoming like a parent they disagreed with, unconsciously adopt the opposite behaviours or values. In doing so, they may still be living in reaction to that unresolved relationship, but just in reverse. Sadly, living in this way ultimately means that we are in fact living a fake and false life, and not your true authentic self, consistently lying to ourselves and others in the process. Therefore, recognising these patterns in our thoughts, actions and behaviours can be incredibly liberating. Instead of reacting automatically, we can pause and ask ourselves what part of me is speaking, or why am I reacting this way? When we learn about projections and recognise what they are, then judgment now becomes an invitation to change and grow. We automatically shift from blame to awareness, and from excuses, defensiveness, and attack to self-reflection. In doing so, we unlock a powerful opportunity to transform external triggers into tools for healing, growth, and lasting personal progression. The truth about projection, and what we say about others, reveals more about ourselves. Have you ever met someone who's constantly talking about how honest and nice they are, yet something about their energy feels off? Or maybe someone who insists they're confident, grounded or trustworthy, but deep down you can sense insecurity, defensiveness or an ulterior motive. This is the power of projection, a conscious and or unconscious psychological process that reveals more about what a person's hiding rather than what they're actually expressing. Projection happens when we take parts of ourselves, feelings, beliefs or traits we can't or don't want to accept and place them onto someone else. It's a defense mechanism the mind uses to avoid confronting inner discomfort. The tricky part is projections often feel real. We truly believe our judgments about others are objective, but in reality, what we say about others is often a mirror reflecting our own unresolved issues, fears, or limiting beliefs. The energetic reversal. One of the most fascinating aspects of projection is how energetically opposite it can be. We all see this, and is all but common on social media, where what someone projects outwardly is often the very thing they feel disconnected from internally. For instance, someone who's constantly talking about their success and how happy they are may be doing so to mask a deeper sense of inadequacy or sadness. The louder the declaration, the more likely it's coming from a place of inauthenticity and not from the truth. This isn't to say that every confident person is insecure or every spiritual person is faking it, but when someone uses effort and energy and needs you to see them in a certain way, or when they repeat the same narrative over and over, like, I'm not like others, I don't care what anyone thinks, I'm the most loyal person you'll ever meet, that insistence can often be, and usually, a red flag. Why? Because the truth doesn't need to shout. It simply is. Why we judge others. Our minds are constantly trying to comprehend or make sense of the world around us, and judgment is part of that process. But often the things that trigger us in others are traits we're willing to not acknowledge in ourselves. If we find ourselves annoyed by someone's arrogance, maybe we haven't made peace with our own ego. If we feel threatened by someone's success, it could be highlighting where we feel jealous, resentful, or insecure. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist who popularised the conception of projection, said everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. This is the gift hidden within projection. It's a roadmap to our shadows and shortfalls. Our judgments, our emotional reactions, and the stories we tell ourselves about others are all breadcrumbs leading back to the unresolved parts of our own psyche. The limiting beliefs behind projection. At the core of projection are limiting beliefs. The deep-seated, often unconscious ideas we formed about who we are and what we're allowed to be. These beliefs are usually shaped by TV and media and in childhood, influenced by family dynamics, societal expectations, and our emotional wounds and failures. For example, someone who believes I am not lovable may project that others are cold, distant, or uninterested. Someone who believes I have to be perfect to be accepted might project their own inner critic onto others, constantly judging or micromanaging, and will inevitably lead to a toxic form of control. These patterns can show up in relationships, careers, even spirituality, any area where the ego feels threatened. And when we're unaware of our limiting beliefs, projection becomes a way to avoid them. But once we start recognizing our own projections and ask ourselves why we feel the need to present ourselves in a certain way, we open the door to healing as well as beginning to understand that the enemy isn't really out there. The work required is in fact internal. Turning the mirror inward. So how do we use this awareness in our daily lives? The next time an event or someone triggers you or you catch yourself judging, pause. Instead of asking what's wrong with them, ask what is this showing me about myself? It's not always a direct correlation, but there's often a deeper truth underneath. Are you projecting fear, insecurity, or resentment? Are you resisting parts of yourself you've been taught are bad or unworthy? Can you allow yourself to feel those parts without guilt, shame, or anxiety? Remember, this isn't about blaming yourself or excusing toxic behaviours in others. It's about reclaiming your own power and inner peace. Because once you see the projection for what it is, you're no longer controlled by it. You're free to respond with clarity rather than react from the negativity from your unconscious wounds and experiences. Final thoughts. So projection is a subtle, often sneaky force that shapes our relationships, perceptions, and self-image. When we bring it into the light, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. What we say about others and what others energetically broadcast about themselves can be valuable clues. Not just about them, but about us. The more we're willing to look within, the more compassion, clarity, and authenticity we bring into every interaction. So next time someone loudly proclaims who they are in life or on social media, or you find yourself doing the same, pause, listen, and observe with curiosity. The truth will be speaking in whispers behind all that noise. So over the years, I've helped many individuals overcome mental health barriers, limiting beliefs and projections, and I provide proven strategy and SRT process to identify and change the underlying causes which create them. By recognising and transforming these obstacles, individuals can improve their mental well-being, build healthier habits, and become more empowered and live a happier life with a more fulfilling outcome. Breaking free from these hidden issues allows people to have healthier relationships and experiences, lasting happiness and success in their life. So what's stopping you?